object right here. Under mesh, you see all the plane, cube, all this objects that you guys been using to create your logo, your projects, your homework, and whatnot. But below that, we have curves, and then we have surface. Okay, so surface is basically what you call NURBS. It stands for non-uniform rational B-spline. So we have jokes about that, but we're going to be wasting precious time here, so we'll wait till fall semester for that one. So anyway, the difference between a NURB surface and a mesh is that a mesh is a solid. NURBS is basically like a paper thin contraption that, it's hollow inside. Okay, curves then would be just your lines. But when you do something with lines, when you combine them, you manipulate them, they will eventually become a polygonal mesh, okay, which we'll do. All right, so let's get rid of this first. Okay, I'm going to rotate my camera a little bit. So I'm going to add a curve, and then we have Bezier. Basically, Bezier will have those handles, okay, Bezier. So I'm going to get one right here. There it is. I'm just going to move it a little bit on the side here. Okay, let me get another one. Shift A. Let me turn on screencast. Okay, Shift A. Oh, that's not Shift A. That's Shift S. Curve circle. There's one. Okay, let's get another one. NURBS curve. Get another one. NURBS circle. And last one, pat. So this one's kind of like a straight line. All right, so we take a look at this. They're just basically lines, okay? And you do something to them, then you can get shapes out of these. So these are really useful tools, okay? So, and I'm in object mode right now. So when I hit tab right here, as you can see, there'll be points inside of these, and then you can manipulate those. This is the line, actually, the one that looks like a centipede right here, okay? And that's just the normal showing. It's not this jaggedy line, it's this one, okay? If I select our NURBS circle, all right, so you can basically have that option to kind of manipulate the points, okay? And of course, you can select that point. When you press E to extrude, you get an extrusion. That's all. Okay? So it applies with this one with extrusion. All right? Okay? And then you can also select 2 points, right click, hit subdivide, you get a point inside. Okay? So let's clean this up. All right, so let's just start with the simplest one, which is Bezier curve. All right, I'm going to go curve Bezier. I'm going to go to the top viewport. I'm going to press number 7 here. Toggle my screencast so we get it back. All right, so when I press tab right here, I get 2 points that I can manipulate. However, it comes with this handle. If I click one of this handle, can move this. Does this look familiar? Yeah, when we did the animation interpolation, right? And function curve. When we made the ball bounce correctly, it's basically manipulating this handle. So that's the same thing. So you're familiar with this already. So I can go like so. I can move this. So even though I don't have any points in the middle, I'm able to curve this by manipulating the handles, okay? And this is watching it from the top, and this is just a line right here. What is this kind of like fishbone looking thing? This is basically the normals. It shows you how your surface is going to be projected. Okay, so you can turn this off if it freaks you out. Okay, click on your overlay right here, and then there's a normal check mark that you can uncheck or check, and that goes away. You can also hide the handles if you want to, but you want to keep those for now. Okay, so what can we do with this? Well, actually, lots of things, okay? Once you realize what this thing can turn out to be, okay? But let's first study how we can add to this line, okay? So if I select a point, and press E to extrude, you get another one. Okay? By doing that, then you can manipulate your handle to kind of get the shape that you want. You can move the points, so on and so forth. If you want to add a point in between, select both points, right click, and then subdivide. You get one in here. However, the subdivide option is here. You can still open this, and then you can increase your number of cuts or points. So you don't have to, suffer right click, subdivide, right click, subdivide. Of course you can do that, but you can also increase it by just using your option right here. Okay, the more points you have, of course, the harder it is to manipulate this. All right, so that's one way to add to your curve and edit it. Okay, and then subdivide is one way to add in the middle. All right, so let's get rid of this one. Let's get another curve. This one will go with path right here. So this one is straight. It doesn't have any handles. However, if I go to edit mode, I get 5 points. Okay, I'm looking at it from the top. Okay. The overlays are off, so this is what it will normally look like when you first make it. Okay, I just turned my normals off. So what I'll do with this is that I'm going to go to the front right here, and then I'm going to rotate this. Okay, R90, so it's standing up. All right, so now that it's standing up, I can do some modeling on this one that will can be converted, let's say, into a polygon. So let's say I'm keeping everything in the blue line right here, right? The top and the bottom, or basically the start and end points. I'm not going to manipulate them going this way or that way. Okay, they can go up and down, but they're not allowed to go from that. So what we'll do now is a process called lathing. All right, this is a carpentry technique where you would put a piece of wood on this 2 spindle that rotates, and then you can put a chisel and you can make balusters, any 360-degree kind of looking wood curving. Okay, so let's take a look at this. I'm going to add one more. Actually, there's 3 points here. This should be enough. So what I'll do is I'm going to try and model, let's say, a quarter section of an apple. Okay, there we go. Maybe increase that a little bit over there. Okay, so, and the key to success here is that you should try and start first with a minimum number of points. The more points you have, the harder it is to manipulate this. So if I press tab right now to just go to my edit mode, I'm in object mode, there it is, like a quarter section of an apple. Okay, and you can always change this after the fact, so it's not final per se. You can still edit it. All right, now we're going to add a modifier to this. Okay, we're going to add the screw modifier. All right, the screw modifier, it basically does a 360 turn. All right, so right now the axis is on Z, so it's not looking like an apple. So I'm going to go all of them so you see which one. All right, I'm going to go to X. Okay, I'm going to go to Y. I'm going to go to Z. So each one gives you a different look. Okay, because they're rotating at a different angle. I mean, axis. Sorry. If I go to X, there it is. There's our apple shape. Okay. So let's say we want to add more detail to this apple. By the way, this is not a polygon right now, so you can't do all those things that you want to do with a polygon, like select a face and whatnot. Because once I press tab, guess what? We're still manipulating this one. This is only possible, and you won't mess it up if you're actually using an orthographic view. Okay, like a like a front viewport. Because if you start manipulating this in a 3D, okay, once this rocks forward and back, then you'll lose that kind of flat shape of your apple. So let's say I want to add more detail to this. I'm going to select those 2 points. I'm going to right click to subdivide so I get a point right here. So by simply doing that, I can actually go here and get my x-ray so I could see the shape and the points if they happen to be in there. So I'm just going to go like so. All right, let's say we want to add another detail right here. Select those 2, right click, subdivide. All right. So the key to success, like I said, is controlling your number of vertices or points. Okay. You can always add them, but if you have, imagine you have 20 right here, that will be a while before you can smooth out this angle because you're manipulating too many points. All right. So I'm gonna leave this as is. I'm gonna go duplicate this, move it up. So I get another apple right there. I'm gonna press tab. And on this tab, I'm going to manipulate this. Again, the top and bottom, or the start and end points, can't be anywhere away from the blue line, because this is what happens. You get a hole in there. Okay? Or if you go inside, then you have an intersecting one. So that's why they can only go along this blue line, and they can go up and down, but you shouldn't cross. Okay? So I'm going to manipulate this. I'm going to move those two up right there. So let's model a pair. All right, that should be good enough for now. All right, so that's from the same number of points. Okay, these fruits are too perfect. If you see them at your local grocery store, do not buy these. Okay, so anyway, it says here, nerve spat. All right, so with nerve spat right here, they're not polygons. So if I press tab, remember your points, lines, and faces, they're not applicable here. So what we do first is make objects like this that are perfect, and then you can manipulate them after. So we got to convert this, right? So you can do the conversion by selecting the object in object mode, go to object, convert, basically mesh. You want to convert to a mesh from a curve, okay? Mesh from curve. So when I do that, this now becomes a mesh, okay? Even though the old name is still there, you should, but when I press tab now to go to edit mode, all right, as you can see here, we're back to what you guys know, okay? So if I select some of these points and then start rotating it or do whatever I want, it's a model. It's a polygon mesh. If I select this, press tab, since this is still a curve. Okay, so can't do that yet. So you right click. It's the same thing as going to object. You right click and then you can do convert to mesh. Okay, press tab. Then you can do all your manipulations, so on and so forth. Okay, so we just did a quick rundown how to manipulate curves and apply a modifier to actually do this, but it's not really optimized. As you can see here, we are using plenty of polygons. All right, way too high resolution for what we need, because we can always apply a subdivision surface to an object, control T2, okay, which is applying a subdivision surface right here through the modifier. Click and do on that one, okay, and you can make it smooth. All right, so we're going to go back to our part 2 and learn how to control the resolution of the curve so that it doesn't give you this super high density object.